Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. We're here for Dolly Talk Tuesday, and I have a very special guest with me today. This is Jordan. Say hello, Jordan. Hello. Yes, and I am so excited because this is one of our new wonderful amazing artists that we have that are joining the community. I love getting to talk to our new artists because this was something that I never would have even fathomed back in like 2009 when I first joined. Like that anybody that could make a doll. I always thought that it was going to be just mostly coming from like our Asian countries and things like that. So it's really great to get to talk to a lot of these artists that are just starting to bloom and blossom and make these amazing dolls for everyone to enjoy. But before we get to Jordan today, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about DollCon Dallas. Don't forget that we are here just a few days away from us ending the early bird price. The early bird price is $35 for your ticket, so take advantage of it now. After this, it goes back up to full price, and they will not be selling tickets at the door. So I highly suggest you get your ticket now, so that way you can have fun with us and enjoy our 2-day doll convention that's out there in Dallas. So that's my little blurb on that. And without further ado, let's talk to Jordan. So, Jordan, I'm gonna pull up your page here. So this is Jordan's Instagram page. If you haven't checked out JorCross Heart on Instagram, please, please, please give him a follow there. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll through some of it while you kind of introduce your dolls to us because it's technically multiple. Give us a little background information on your creations. Wonderful. And so we actually have I pulled up your like sketches of Sheilin so that they could see those different like expressions that you put for your doll there. You also have it marked off that you have human and elven. So can you tell us a little bit more about that too? Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the size? Because I know sometimes, like when people see images, and then especially a lot of these artist-made dolls, sometimes they're special sizes. What can you tell us about the size for your doll? Oh my God. Oh, that is so cool. Awesome. Well, I did prepare some interview questions that I had sent to Jordan. So I'm going to go ahead and ask those questions right now. So, our first question that I had for you was, what first inspired you to start making BJDs, and how has your artistic vision evolved over time? I know you kind of already sort of touched base on it. And I'm glad you talked about Casper because I actually just showed my daughter Casper. And it's such a callback because I mean, I'm also old. Believe it or not, this is just makeup, but like I'm really old too. So, I'm just really glad that all of us here kind of have this bond to dolls that we're kind of all like. There's a lot of us here that I think they're kind of in that age range. So I'm really interested just to hear what kind of inspired you, since you kind of are sort of from the same generation, like from I am as well.
The dolls. But as course as time has gone on, my draw is more comic book oriented. So my future dolls, I'm still going to do like my very anime looking dolls. I think Sheila fits into that a little bit. But I'm if you look on my Instagram, you can see like the boy that I have on there definitely fits like a comic book aesthetic. Um, but yeah, I come from that background. So comic books have been a huge play for me. Video games. I do like anime and manga, so there's a little bit of draw there, but it's a kind of a conglomeration of all of those things mixed in with childhood cartoons that I grew up with, like Casper and things like that. And so it all bundles into one thing that this is the outlet for.
Awesome. So I feel so bad because I just noticed someone from stream actually just tagged me right now. They're like, "We don't hear him." So I
Oh
because I
no.
didn't have the audio audio. It did. I did catch the last part right now of you talking. So I might have you just do like a quick little like blurb again about Sheelan, and so that way we can kind of run through it just one more time now that I have the audio working for you. I thought it was
Oh,
on, but again, I told you it never fails. Something has to go wrong in my streams. It would not be a stream if my stream didn't have something that went wrong. But
they
okay,
can
so now they
now.
can hear you. They can hear you
Oh,
now. So just
well,
give me a quick little blurb. I have your Instagram page up, so you
well,
can
I
check
mean,
out Sheelan.
like I said, like my first doll, I wanted to be a USD because like I was not about to practice the casting process with the giant that I made that is on my Instagram page with the red wig on. There's just no way because that doll is like almost 75, 80 centimeters tall. But I wanted to start with the USD size, which I'm pretty happy with. And it's been about 2 to 3 years of work in the making of this doll. And it's a lot of it's my own inexperience too. Like I went to school for game art design and I learned 3D modeling. So I wasn't putting it to any real use. And I wanted to do that and start making my own dolls. So that's kind of where this comes from. And then Sheila, the doll itself, I wanted to have the very kind of throwback to the days of human head versus elven head, which every company was doing. But then I wanted to update it a little bit and give slightly more detailed expressions, like saying if you look at the cutesy head, which is kind of winking completely, and then you look at the mischievous head, they both have sort of I say on the mischievous head, it has kind of a smirk and one eye is a little more closed than the other, and the cheek is lifted a little bit, and that smile kind of comes up on one side. And the cutesy version, completely winking, that cheek is definitely up, that eye is smaller, and the tongue is sticking out. So, which I don't know why. I've only ever seen 2 or 3 dolls, I think, that had the tongue sticking out, and I just love it. I think it's the most adorable thing ever. But yeah, and then as far as the influence goes of what's always drawn me, it's mostly for me been comic books, um, X-Men, Wonder Woman, Lady Death, things like that that I've always read. And definitely, I would say toys that inspired me was pretty much any doll. Barbie, Gem and the Holograms, She-Ra, things like that I played with as a kid. And so I've always loved dolls. So this is just, for me, the next natural step.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna say some quick hellos to people in chat. Hey Claire, how's it going? I'm so sorry, chat. I see now. Now I see your chat because that was the other thing too. The chat wasn't scrolling for some odd reason, and so now I see everyone's like, we can't hear him. I hear you, Asenva. Womp womp. I'm seeing everybody's chat now. But Claire, how's it going? So glad that you're here. Nate, I always say Nadie, but that's like my love name for you. Okay, you understand that, right, Natty? Okay, Natty. Hello, Daddy. Kitty, how's it going? Glad you're here today. Fanatier, hello, hello, hello. Yes, thank you for texting me, Sarah. I appreciate it so much. I'm trying to talk into the mic because they're saying that now I'm quiet, so
Oh
it's
no.
like one thing or the other. So I'm just gonna try my best. And we'll do what we gotta do. Um, Fanatier did ask, did he have like an EID Ashanti at some point?
I did. Her name is Shondal.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have her. I bought. You know what's so funny is I always look for alternative ways to dress my dolls and to costume them. The ones that I bought, and you know it's really funny is I got made fun of relentlessly for some of the things I did to dolls. I've been like an ongoing joke at some point, but I love. One thing I wanted to do for that EID that I had is I went into a hair shop and found the Afro Puff pigtails that they had, and I bought some and actually turned one into a wig so that my doll had an afro.
Oh wow. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna jump to our next question. I've said hi to some people there in chat. Um, so can you walk us through your creative process from like the first concept or sketch to your finished doll?
It just pretty much I always start with a sketch, just a drawing, and it'll usually be you'll laugh, but I always draw eyeballs first, not even a full face, eyeballs. And so I was just drawing random eyeball shapes, and from the classic like manga look to more of a comic book look. Um, One of my favorite artists is Joseph Michael Lensner, and he always drew a very photorealistic eye for his character Dawn. and I loved her. So I started just sketching random eyeballs, and then I started sketching this more rounded eyeball. And I was like, okay, I definitely like this. And then I started fleshing the face out around it. I get that sketch done, and then I probably do probably 30 or 40 different sketches of those faces that I want to use before I decided on the final three or four. And then I moved into the 3D design. Just basically, if anyone here knows about 3D modeling, starting with the basic ball and really just doing the head. And then at first, this was only going to be a doll head that I was going to sell because somebody said start with a doll head and then work on the body. But I really just, I always knew I did not like the process of trying to match a head to a body that was from a different company. I hate that process. So I didn't want to put somebody through that. So I just started designing a body. Now, my body, though, I wanted it to be a little bit diverse. I wanted people to have the option for this to be a kid or a toddler if that's what they want. But I also, if you really look at Sheila's body, especially the shoulders and the arms, there's a bit of a little person look to her, to them, because it's not really a gendered doll. But I wanted it to be capable that people could make this a sort of little person if they wanted to, or it could be like a kid. I want it to have multiple uses.
Got it. And then you took, like, for example, this one for Sheelan, you did the 3D rendering of it, and then you
Yeah,
actually sent it out. Like, you've
yeah.
sent it out to cast, but you did like a 3D print of it first,
Yeah,
and
I
then you
3D
sent it
print
out.
all of mine just to make sure that the joints work and all of that. Now I'm going to be completely transparent. I am terrible with joints. I suck at joints. So I did have someone who was an engineer who really kind of helped me to make sure that these joints were going to be functional and not break. And that was really important to me to make sure that the doll I put out was not going to have, engineering problems because nobody likes to get a doll and then it's broken or damaged in the first 3 months that you own it because of the artist's inability to process the joint. So I really wanted to make sure. So I did pay someone to test all of my joints and to make sure they all work properly and to tell me what I needed to do to fix them if they did not. And then once I 3D printed all the parts and sanded those parts, then I even took my doll and for a while I just carried around my 3D printed work as my own doll because that was me testing my own product. And I took my girl character, which I turned Sheila into, and there's photos of that doll with the little red wig and the little like Lolita looking blue and white dress on. I carried that doll around me for a year and a half almost of the time I was designing. And then I finally reached out to F Doll, who's doing all of the casting services for me. And now here we are, and we're about to launch.
Awesome. I mean, the joints look pretty solid though, Jordan. I mean, you even have like, is that like is this going to be an extra additional floating piece? I know some of the other dolls have like that. It's almost like a cap,
I
like
call
a
it the cup.
yeah, like a cup. Yeah, 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 the
Yeah,
cup.
I did that because I didn't like how the doll's arms were sticking out to the sides a little bit. And I thought, oh, maybe I could add an extra posability by putting kind of the way, almost like the way CP Lutz put their boy dolls and girl dolls had a cup. EID, some of them have cups too. And Volks has done that a lot. So I experimented with that and created a cup for it. And it gave me the look I wanted and allowed the doll's arms to lay flat. So I like that. And what's funny is I'm actually really proud of one aspect of this doll. And if you look at the shoulder, there's the cup, then there's the ball socket of the shoulder. And if you look very closely, there's a dividing line. And that line is the swivel arm so that the arm
Yeah. That's
and
what
you don't
I was going to say that. I was like, "You did a swivel?"
yeah, so if you look really close, you can faintly see. I'm really happy with how flush that is.
I'm excited to see it. Like, this is I like it. A lot of these like different concepts, like sometimes you don't see them in a lot of these newer dolls that come out and stuff, but like I really do miss kind of like these other aspects that were in some of these dolls, such as like the cup. The cup is really cool. The swiveling part is something new that I've seen like even in one of my newer dolls that I have. Having the swiveling part here is really cool. I really like that that swivel in the shoulder as well. So
I
I
got
think
that
it
idea.
looks like you nailed it. Like,
I got that idea from when I was a kid. I played with the 3-inch GI Joe dolls, the little action figure 3-inch tall ones, and they had a swivel like that. And I was like, how am I going to make this work? And then so when people get the doll, they can actually pull it apart and look at how it works. But it's just a ball with a post on it, and the post sticks down inside that top part of the arm and allows it to rotate. But yeah,
oh,
so I'm very happy with that.
that is so cool. And
And
the magnets?
the magnetic hands, believe it or not. Okay, so I was in your live. I was in your stream the last time you streamed. Remember, you told me, and I joined your stream to like see what was going on. About a week after that, I was like, these hands need to be magnetic. It's time for me to move out of the past decade and get into the new decade. I need magnetic hands. So it was a last minute thing. I did that in like a day. And then, and of course, F Doll was so annoyed with me because he had already sanded all the hands.
Oh
And so I felt so bad.
no.
And I paid for it. I told him, listen, I'll pay for it. It's fine. I know you have to print more and test the parts and sand more. That's fine. So I paid a charge and he was like fine with it. But I think it was definitely a good decision to make because the magnetic hands are just so much better, especially when you're trying to dress a doll. Like it's so easy to just pop off the hands and put the sleeves on or whatever you're doing and then put the hands back on.
Definitely. Yeah, that is such a like I really didn't think cuz I don't think actually I have some that are like I think I have like maybe one or two dolls that have magnetic hands and that is like something that's really nice, like a very nice feature to have because you're right. Like coming through some clothing, especially like dolls that are smaller size dolls, like getting them through sleeves or anything like that, that is such a nightmare sometimes. So that is really smart to do that.
Yeah, my first idea was changing the hands. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but changing BJD hands for me is a nightmare because you have to pull it out, you have to maintain holding that cord, unhook the hand, and then hook a new hand on. And meanwhile, don't let it slip back and the hook gouge out your thumb. Like, so I just like I've got to do this an easier way. And I think I saw I forgot whose doll I saw that had magnetic hands, and I'm like, I want magnetic hands on this doll.
For sure. We're gonna go back to chat here a little bit and see what they're saying here. Let's see. Oh, they were making comment on the doll that you had made that was huge. You're like, whoa, that's huge. Um, let's see. They can hear us now, which is great. Um, Fanatier says, I'm following you for years, then lol. It's lovely to see you again, Jordan.
Aw.
So Fanatier says. Fanatier says, I've always loved your dolls and face ups. I didn't know you were making your own now.
Aw.
Claire says, oh, look at the wee doll. So cute. Natty, I keep on saying Natty just because for years, okay? Natty. It's the teacher in me. Double E makes the E sound. Okay. Natty says, woo, fantasy doll / F doll is awesome. Fanate says that they like the swivel shoulder. Natty also says it makes the arms pose so much more naturally. Swivel joints for the win. Fanate also says that, yeah, out of the torture of getting S hooks stuck in your fingers, changing the hands. Claire says no swivel shoulder for Lena. Anita, that's her. These are her dolls. Has the swivel arms. It's neat. And then Natty says it's an agony to change or change hands. I know some doll makers used to offer paddle hands, and even those were annoying.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're still having to grab that cord with that hook.
Yeah.
And I've had a few nightmare situations where I ended up, trying to fuse a hook to my bone.
Oh God, it's like, yeah, it's like you literally put your blood, sweat, and tears into these dolls. Sometimes it's just really funny. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna pull up our questions. Uh, the next question we have for you is, how do you balance artistic expression with the technical challenges of sculpting and engineering a posable doll?
Well, I'll be honest, like I tried, and people are probably going to think this is so weird. I tried sculpting a doll out of clay. And I don't care what anybody says, because you can do 3D modeling does not necessarily mean you can do 3D sculpting in clay. Like I know my dolls look like lumps of Play-Doh stuck together. Like it was horrendous. And no matter what I tried, I could not master that. So I decided, and then 3D printers, I always thought, well, one day I'm going to get a 3D printer. But back when I first started looking at that, they were thousands of dollars for a 3D printer. And even then they were the PLA printers, which has the plastic that it just spreads around on top layer by layer, and that you can't really sand it very easily. So there's a lot of extra work involved. But then the SLA printers, which is the resin printers that you pour the liquid resin into, those started coming down in value now, and you can get one for $200 or $300 for one. They're less than a doll. So that's what really opened the doorways for me. So the artistic side of it, and I'm not bragging or anything about my abilities, but I've been drawing most of my life. I went to school at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. So, I graduated there with a bachelor's and moved into the 3D side of things. And I just really had to break that wall and get into the 3D printing aspect, which was the more technical side of it. It was very intimidating, very, very intimidating. But I feel like I've gotten that down, and we're looking at the results of that.
Awesome. Let's see here. Our next question says, the BJD community is very collaborative and global. How does community feedback or fan interaction influence your work?
Well, I don't know how to say this correctly without offensive words. We're just going to say I crave attention. So I'm there. So anytime I interact with people who like, or even honestly, people who don't like my doll, because you know what? I don't learn anything if people just flatter me with constant wonderful comments about my doll. I need to hear sometimes, oh, I like it, but I just don't like the way the arms sit, or I don't like the way the ankles move, or whatever it may be, because then I carry that to my next project. But I definitely love the attention. I always, as a kid, loved being the center of attention, and I was definitely that. Look what I drew, mom. Look what I drew. Look what I did. Put it on the refrigerator. So this is my adult version of that.
Gotcha. So you'll be pretty open to feedback and things like that, especially since this is like your first stall.
Oh, absolutely. I honestly, part of the magnetic hand thing was a feedback from one of my friends. He was telling me, he goes, the ball joint wrist thing, a lot of people are stepping away from that. And he was absolutely right. There are a lot of companies now that are using magnetic hands, and CP Lutz had done it for a number of years too.
For sure. Well, it kind of blends in with our next question, which is, what trends or innovations do you see shaping the future of BJD design and customization?
Um, Personally, I see a lot, and I think it's heading that way. But I see a lot of horror. Um, and when I say horror, I don't mean like, don't get me wrong, I love Soom dolls. I love the pretty werewolf boys and stuff like that. But one of my next projects, and it's coming probably in the next 2 years, is I'm working on a horror movie quality werewolf. Like we're talking like the lichens of Underworld or something like that I'm looking for, with the backwards, like the dog legs and stuff like that verges into the chest, and there's almost no neck. There's the big wolf head with a hingeable jaw, stuff like that. But I would say horror has always been a little bit of a thing anyways in the alternative doll world, but I'm seeing more and more and more like kind of gory horror characters coming out of it now. I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, I think so. And it's honestly, I think it's been really amazing to see the community evolve the way that it has, because I mean, we started off with just like some just very just generic like sculpts, and then like you've got people that make just just wild things like that I would have never imagined would have turned into like a doll. And it's more than one company. Like so many different companies have started like dipping their toes into like doing out of the norm type dolls out there. So I think it's really interesting to see, and I really honestly do love seeing the artists. So if you do dip your toe out of it to do this
Yeah.
like, and I love seeing it because it's variation. You know, like everyone, you could have one werewolf doll like from one company look completely different than another company's werewolf doll. Just like we have the variation between the sculpts as well. So I think that'll be a really exciting thing to see you put forth one day.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it, and I crave looking at other artists. I love meeting with other artists and looking at their dolls and their concepts. I live in New York, and we have a meetup here on the second Saturday of every month. And there's a few people that are doing some gorgeous dolls that are stepping so far outside the mold. One lady had this doll that looked like a Greek statue. It was stunningly gorgeous, and like I wish I could remember the name of it because I would plug her 100% with her doll because it was gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what she does with it.
That is so cool. Can you tell us more about, I guess, because we didn't get to catch information for like your pre-order process or how you're looking to sell your dolls, like so that way people can get information on that.
Yeah, I am. I'm doing it all pretty much through Instagram or Facebook. Just pretty much any way you can get a hold of me is fine. Um, so I've let it be known on my Instagram, but I'm also gonna let it be known here that there is going to be a limited edition of 30 of the doll that's a sort of full set, not in terms of clothing, wig, hair, any of that, but a full set in terms of you get the doll and all of the heads that were originally cast with it. So you would get the human, the elven, the mischievous, and the cutesy head. And if they're gonna, all the dolls are coming in a. I think I showed you my case. That's a hard plastic carrying case with a shoulder strap and inlaid foam. And I went the cheap route. Not gonna lie, I had stickers made for my label and my photo art of the doll, and I'm just putting those on the cases that I bought. But the prices will be up. I'm going to start I think November 1st, around there is going to be starting the pre-order. But I'm not expecting it to fully pick up until people see the dolls in my possession because the photos you see are from F doll and the hands are not present in those. But yeah, I'm going to be starting taking orders on those. But yeah, and I am going to number each doll of the limited set. There's going to be 30, and inside the heads, your doll will have what number it is of the 30, and each doll will have that same number, the doll heads. And I'm going to take UV resin and actually brush the inside after I paint the number in it so it can't be removed.
Great. You have some colors too.
What was that?
Oh, you have some colors too. There's some different colors.
Yeah. I named. I know F Doll has numbers for all of their colors, but I wanted to go with kind of making my own name for what I'm doing. So they come in peach. They're all like I call them all tasty names. So there's peach, there is caramel, there's chocolate, there's cherry, there's licorice. Licorice is like a jet black, like raven black. I think you've already said you love the red.
It's beautiful.
The cherry, it's like red like your lips right now.
Yeah, it's like a really vibrant red.
Yeah, and then which I'll be honest, I haven't seen a red like that. I don't think I've ever seen one as vibrant as that.
Mm-mm.
So I'm pretty happy with how vibrant that is. But then yeah, and then there's one that I have not really talked a lot about. It looks like white skin. It is not white skin. It is glow in the dark.
What? Oh, okay. Because you have some glow in the dark, like on your Instagram. You have some that are
Yeah,
glow in the dark down here.
yeah. Those were 3D printed glow in the dark dolls. Yeah,
So wait, is
but
F Doll's not doing the glow in the
yeah,
dark, right? Are they?
they are.
They
They
are.
absolutely. Yeah, I talked to them, and I guess he found a way to do it. So he's making it. It looks from the photos. I'm hoping it is as white as it looks in the photos, because it looks paper white, which I love because it kind of gives me a third. I mean, it kind of gives me another skin option because some people like the white, but just the fact that it's gonna like, I can't wait for somebody to not realize it glows in the dark, and then they think they get a white skin doll, and they turn off the lights, and the dang thing is emanating like
Can you
toxic
imagine? It's
radiation.
like sitting on the shelf. They're like, "Oh, my doll came in." They do like the face up. They put it up on the shelf. They're like, "All right." They turn off the light, and it's like, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." It's just on the shelf. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. That's the only doll color that is not a tasty name. Glow in the dark just doesn't taste good,
I was like, "What would you even name that?" Like, I don't even know if there's like a tasty name for that.
right? But yeah, so but those are the colors. I really carefully. I spent probably a month deciding amongst all the colors that he showed. He showed me hundreds of colors. I swear to God, he showed me like 4 pages of colors. And I'm like, how am I going to make this decision? And I'm like, okay, well, I need three relatively normal colors.
Oh.
So each, the flesh tone, a Caucasian tone, if you will. Caramel, I go with sort of a, like a Latin range of skin tones with caramel. And then chocolate is kind of a coffee chocolate color. And then, of course, having the little devil character, there needed to be some supernatural colors. So I chose red and then like the ebony black.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's. I think this is like a really fun color choice. That is really crazy though. That like, I didn't know because I've heard people do like casting through resin soul, like because apparently you can cast through resin soul also. Um, and like you can have them do like different colors. Like they can do different colors and stuff as well. But I didn't know that F doll also had like multiple like what was like a weird color that you saw?
They had one that was like, it was like, for lack of a better term, it was like army green. And I don't know how I felt about it. I hate to call it this, but it was a color that was kind of somewhere between olive and vomit.
Oh,
And I
that
was
could have been a tasty color.
like, I'm like, what an odd color. But I'm sure someone out there would love to have that color.
That is so interesting. Like, and I wonder, I honestly wonder, like, what's the effect, like, overall with some of those, like, special colors? Because I know, like, our the ones that are called like normal skin or like those colors they eventually like yellow over time, and then they always talk about like tan skin and that also changes color over time. I wonder like how it is like for some of these bizarre colors.
Well, I do know, I have ordered a set of hands in all six, all of the colors that I've done. And I'm literally, the sole purpose of those is I want to leave them in a window and see how long it takes them to change colors, if they do at all.
Mm.
So I am still testing some things on this, but I did do a lot of research on Fantasy Doll before I opted to choose them. I looked at things like customer service. I looked at things like time frame of how long it takes them to deal with a doll. I dealt with color options, and a big factor was the yellowing of the dolls that they use, that the resin that they use. So F dolls, I hadn't seen any complaints about their dolls yellowing, so I went with. That's another reason I went with them.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really neat.
Now,
um
to say that they won't yellow because I don't know. I just didn't see anything that said their dolls, their resin work yellows.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it really honestly varies from company to company too. And I mean, I don't know. Even like back then, like when I first joined the hobby, that was one of my fears was that they were talking about how they yellow over time, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be a banana one day. Like it honestly, a lot of my dolls are like super ancient old. Like they're old, and I don't even really feel like it's that bad as most people like were scaring me at the beginning.
Like I have an SD Olivia, an SD 16 Olivia, and she is butter yellow. I have literally put butter next to her, and she is darker than the butter.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know how it's even. It's just it's age yellowing.
Wait, how old was it again?
I've only had her like 4 years, but she had the SD16 Olivia's been out for a while.
Oh, okay. So you got her like second hand. Like you're
Yeah, I
with somebody else,
got
so you don't know how
right.
old,
Yeah,
approximately how old it could be.
yeah, I have no idea.
How funny. Yeah, like mine are like, like 15 years old, I think, like around that age. And like, I mean, you can tell that they're like a different shade, but like, I don't think they're like that bad. So I don't know. Maybe it's like older resin versus like how they're casting them now. Cause I mean, so much has changed, honestly. Like, so much has changed, like, from where it has all started. So I mean, a lot of it could be that as well. I don't, I don't know. But I'm gonna run back because we got some comments here, so we're gonna rewind and take a look at some of our comments here. Going back, going back to the injuries discussion. Fanatia said they've had their finger gouged before. Um, Fanatia also says now a lot of artists do clay sculpting. I want a 3D printer so bad.
There,
Yeah.
there are people on Amazon. You can get the resin printers, or like the small ones are like $200 or $300. If you're willing to spend 6 or 7 or even $800, you can get an incredible one.
Dang. Yeah, I've got no, like, zero artisticness in me for like doll creation. Like, I could not. I just I like doing face ups. I can't. I would not be able to create one. There's absolutely no way. Like, I don't. I'm not talented in that way, shape, or form. Vanity also says, even in the dollhouse world, the amount of 3D sculpting furniture is actually amazing. Oh, I skipped one. It said 3D modeling has really allowed so much access for creativity for those who can't hand sculpt. Uh, Natty says I'm inept and can't hand sculpt or digital sculpt. That's me too. I actually, honestly, I've never tried, but I don't think I don't even have a will. Like, that doesn't even exist in me right now. So I don't. It's okay. Kitty says I need to learn how to 3D model. I used clay for so long, but my hands are shot now. Oh yeah, I could see that too. Like, if you have arthritis and things like that, it's hard to do the hand sculpting. Fanatia says, yeah, Logan Dolls has done some spooky looking dolls too. So is this talking back to the spooky dolls? Let's see here. Let's see. Fanatia says that 3D printers have modeling and that have allowed so much additional creativity and customization to the hobby. I agree too. There's been a lot of different things, and it's not just dolls that people have been putting out there. That it's also like accessories. I've seen people do like magnetic accessories with 3D printing. That's also been a big thing too. Claire says for
Just
me.
a,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
just a quick, sorry, just a quick heads up. If I suddenly vanish, it's because my battery's dying. So just be
Oh
aware. I'm happy to talk until it dies, but
no. Oh, okay. Okay. Um, Natty was talking about how your color choices were making them hungry. Claire says I don't like black licorice. Casta says hello, Casta. I'm so glad you're here.
I know Casta. Hi, Casta.
Yes.
She's
Uh,
seen. She's watched me through some of this process.
yes. Um, talking about the glow in the dark. Vanity says my doll is radioactive. Um, radioactive dolls. Maybe an alien doll.
My
Um,
thought was the ghost,
oh, a ghost.
like a ghost, or even the devil, like the little devil character. Like I could see them being
Ah.
glowing, emanating green light. He wanted to. One thing he said he could do was a purple glow, but I've always had bad luck with things that glow in the dark purple, and they're never that vibrant.
Oh, purple.
Yeah, so I chose green.
That is, you know what? You're right, though. I don't really think I've seen a lot of purple. I mean, that'd be so unique. But yeah, if it's not very vibrant, then I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Fanatier says, yay, Resin Soul. They're incredibly sweet and awesome with customer service. Natty says, orcish green. That would be great for goblins and orcs. Yeah, I could see
Oh
that
yeah.
for that. Yeah, that forest green. What?
The vomit green.
The vomit green? Yeah, oh god. Fantasy says chartreuse doll.
So funny she says that because I have a doll that is chartreuse green that I bought.
Oh. And Fantasy said that my purple doll was kind of fading to gray, while my gray doll is mellowing a bit greenish. Oh, so that's an
Yeah, that's that.
interesting
Yeah.
color change there. Natty also says I have an F doll 1/6 from 2011 and she's barely yellowed. So that's
Oh,
how I'm
see,
like,
maybe I picked the right company.
yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. Fan also says a lot of my tan dolls have just taken on a more olive hue and they think it's really pretty.
Yeah. That
Um,
yeah, olive skin is very pretty as it is. My mother was a very olive skinned woman. So I can see that being beautiful.
yeah, so I'm like, I mean, honestly, none of mine have really. I mean, curious about your butter doll. Like, you have to send me a picture later because I don't think I've ever seen anything like yellow before. But that was what scared me when I first joined. I was like, dang, I'm gonna spend all this money and it's gonna turn like a banana. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But
I
okay.
love her the same.
Mm-hmm. Natty says my Volk Tsukasa and my HZ Faye are both like super butter yellow, like
Yeah.
radioactive butter from Fallout yellow.
I I think Volks dolls are primarily the dolls that turn butter yellow.
Oh, I wonder if it's like with something that they make, like how it's made.
I don't know. I know that every Volks doll, every doll I've seen that was butter yellow was a Volks doll.
Hmm.
So I don't
Interesting.
know. I don't know if there's a connection there.
Huh. Um. Fan says I'll buy one when my bill is smaller. Homegirl had a rough broke teacher summer. I feel you, fan. I know how that is. Kitty says I have a Volks girl from 2004. She isn't super yellow, but she is yellow enough for it to be noticeable. So again with the Volks, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Claire says their doll Lena is dark skinned and she's hoping that it doesn't fade.
She,
But I you know I I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But I mean, all of mine have been doing pretty good. But yeah, I don't think any of them are like really crazy. Like the only one that I could say is pretty crazy is probably my doll zone. But I mean, even at that, she doesn't look that bad. But she's definitely her color is definitely not what it used to be
yeah.
for sure. Awesome.
I'm definitely excited for people to see the case that these dolls are going to come with
Yes. Oh
because I'm
my
like,
god.
I'll be the first. I think I don't. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a case like the one that I'm putting these dolls in.
No, and that is like one of my favorite things about the smaller artists and how they send off their dolls because every smaller artist doll I have received has come in a very unique package. Like most of the mainstream dolls, it's just the traditional cardboard box with the foam inserts and stuff, and that's what it is. But like I've gotten some really cool stuff, and Jordan did send me a picture of the case and it looks so cool. Like at first, I think I don't know if you sensed it and it was in the background or what it was, and I was like, "Is that the case?" And then you were like, "Yeah, this is the case." I was like, "Dude, that's legit. That is such a like. It looks serious business. It's so cool."
And a fun thing about it, my cousin was telling me because they're on the case that I bought. There's when you close it and lock the locks down to close it, between the handle and the locks, there's these little hole like lips that have a hole through them, and there's one on each side of the case. And I was thinking I was going to need to remove one of those on one side of the case so that the case could open easily because the clips of the strap go through those. But then she was saying, or you could leave them intact because that's like a double safety so that the doll doesn't manage to pop open and land on the sidewalk.
Oh
She said,
yeah,
I, she said, I think people would rather she said, I think people would rather unclip the strap from it to be able to open the case than to risk that the clips pop open and the doll falls on the pavement.
true. Yeah. It's really cool. I'm really excited for you to have those, like, if you get everything like for like a all together photo, because it's really really cool, and I hope they get to see that, or maybe you post your case with your sticker on it so they can see that as well, because it is really really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Originally what I was gonna do is on Amazon they had these little coffin cases. It's like some sort of a jewelry box or something made of wood. And I originally thought I would buy those and customize coffins for each one of the dolls that I sold out. But ultimately I'm glad I didn't do that because there was really only room for the Sheila doll itself. There wasn't room for the extra heads or any paperwork or anything like that. So I'm glad I went with a sort of tactical case.
I'm glad too, because actually there is another small time, or not small time. They're pretty good too. Artist that sent it in a coffin, and it might be the same coffin you're talking about.
Maybe,
So
maybe.
that's really cool though. Like I said, it's really cool to see the variation and like the difference, like the different things. Because like I've gotten a couple of different just random things, but I love it when there's definitely a case that can be mobile that you can take with you. So I think your case, like once people see it, they're gonna see like how it'll be nice to take with them and keep their dolls safe when they transfer it over to other places.
Yeah, and certainly it's certainly good for travel too, like actual travel. So if you're going on an airplane or anything like that, because the entire case is pretty much plastic. So you don't have to worry. I'd say there's only two areas where there's metal, and that's in the hinge. There's a wire that holds the hinge together, and in the bolt that holds the handle on. That's it.
Cool.
So
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna see if anybody has. Oh, no, it died! Oh no, his phone died. Well, that was Jordan. So if you can please give a follow if that's possible today, check out his Instagram. I have it up here. It's JorCross Heart. I'm gonna put us back here to this one here so that way you can hear me really well, because I don't know why the microphone's all weird on the other one. But JorCross Heart, there on Instagram. I'm so sad I didn't get to say goodbye. His phone died. He was chilling, eating like he was, and that's because I was about to open up for questions. But if you guys have questions, why don't you guys go ahead, and if you do, leave it in our comment section so that way he can see them. Because again, he's really big into involving himself in the community. He said he's going to be joining a bunch when he gets ready to do his pre-order. Um, he wants to go ahead and post and like get involved in a lot of the online communities that we have. So please, please, please give him a follow and check him out. So many cool things. There's not. He has sent me more pictures like via chat than what he has on Instagram, and I can just tell you like he definitely has taken so much time and consideration into this doll, into his doll that he's making. So please 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 check it out. But yeah, if you have questions, please put them in the comment section. You can also probably just message him as well if you have questions for him specifically. But yeah, that's I feel so bad that we didn't get to say goodbye. So everyone will give a spiritually goodbye to Jordan. Goodbye, Jordan. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us in today's little stream. I really hope to highlight more artists like this in the future and to kind of get to talk to them here on Dolly Talk Tuesdays, which are every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, unless something happens because I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, and stuff happens, and I'll usually let you guys know if I have to cancel or whatnot. But I would love to talk to more of our community, not just all artists as well, and have this as time to talk and have fun with people. So as always, I hope you guys have a dolly-tastic day. Stay safe, have fun, enjoy your dolls, and please check out Jordan today. Yeah, we'll see you guys in another video soon. Okay. I'm going to figure out how to stop this because I have like 10,000 windows open. Okay, bye.